Okay, I don't like my teacher.
Yeah, sure. I'm Mike Mahalke, and one of the things that's the biggest challenge in terms of casting for this production is to truly capture the nature of California and the diversity represented in the state and the kids in the schools, and putting together what would be a most believable presentation of the information in the initiative.
So she's the right age? As a director, I've shot a whole lot of commercials that involved children, and when we do casting sessions, what we really look for is a kid that has imagination, has some brain power. That's why we throw some questions to them, and if we see a kid that just answers yes or no, or doesn't want to carry a conversation, then there's a pretty good idea that that kid's not going to perform on camera.
She was,
Pushy?
mean.
Mean.
Log on to schoolvouchers.com.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A marine biologist or a writer.
We also look to see if a kid is intimidated. If a kid walks in a room, you have 5 or 6 people asking him questions. It's kind of a weird situation. His parents aren't there. It really makes a difference if that child can sit there and look confident in himself, and that's a hard thing to do. I know I could never do it at that age.
I go to Rossmore Elementary in Los Alamitos.
Look right at Tiffany and say, "When I grow up, I want to be a teacher."
Okay.
Good. Yeah. Okay.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
Good luck.
Inland Empire.
After looking at over 350 kids, it's remarkable that you really end up sitting and looking at about 5 or 6 that fit the actual criteria that you're using.
He spoke loud enough to hear?
Yeah, Enrique's parents were, Jaime and Rosie. And the kids were Enrique and Jaime also.
I think we found some real great kids for this shoot, so kind of excited about doing it.
The morning of the first day of our shoot was a real challenge. Most of these kids and their parents had never been on a film set before, and it was all my assistant director Stephanie could do to prevent total chaos.
I'm Denise Woods, and I'm playing the teacher today in our classroom. And I remember back when I was in school, the chaotic situations that the teachers would come across. And this isn't much different. And I can understand the frustration that the teachers actually go through, because it can get crazy. I mean, you get students that go out of control, and the patience that a teacher has to have is just incredible.
The concept of this ad campaign called for every scene to take place in a classroom or a school hallway. For our location, we rented a private school south of Los Angeles. This gave us complete control of the facility and important production security. We completely decorated and rearranged 2 of the classrooms based on photographs of typical 4th and 5th grade public school classrooms. The final result was a very believable shooting situation for both the kids and the commercials.
I'm Tiffany D'Alessandro, and I coordinate a lot of the shoots for Brave Under Cox Mahalke. On this shoot, I'm working with Przyborski Productions and setting everything up to come out here and film these great spots out in California. It's my job to make sure that all the elements come together, that we've hired the production company, that the budgets are worked out with them, that we look at all the casting tapes and make our decisions on casting, which we went through hundreds of kids for this job. And once we get back, my job also includes looking at selecting voiceovers and picking music. And the last part of my job is I have to make sure we don't run out of film.
Before we started on the project, the producer and I got together and decided on a look for the campaign. We agreed that scenes of the problem school should look like they were edited from a documentary. To accomplish this, I shot all the bad school footage with cold fluorescent lighting and grainy 16mm film. I also shot many of the scenes handheld.
We'll be so tight it becomes an atmosphere behind them.
Right, yeah, that's what I featured.
This is a little 16mm camera. We're using this to show kind of like bad schools.
It's a look.
Yeah.
One of a parent's biggest worries is security for their kids. I was able to convey this thought by creating images that students had become prisoners in their own schools. Newspapers were reporting that California planned to install metal detectors in elementary schools, so we rented a couple of these detectors to symbolize the downward trend in public education.
This is amazing. We're at a school that has a huge amount of props here for us to use.
Thousands of California voters cannot speak English. To communicate with them, we filmed many of the sync sound scenes in English, then again in Spanish. During post-production, we edited 2 versions of the commercials.
I am Stacy Oswald. I work for Brave Under Cox Mahalke, and we're a political media firm, and we are working on a fantastic campaign out here in California, School Vouchers 2000.
And we have done a lot of work in California, but this is a really exciting project, and we're just so thrilled to be doing it.
Wow. Ready? Roll video?
A good school is where the teachers are into teaching, and I learn something new every day.
The second and third day of our shoot was when we filmed most of the 35mm sync sound production scenes. The scripts called for our young actors to talk about their future dreams and ambitions. Several of the kids were bilingual and were able to do their script in English and in Spanish.
Cuando yo sea grande, yo quiero ser una veterinaria.
What we're fighting here is the California sun. You'd think it'd be great, the sun is so bright, but believe me, it's so bright that the kids squint and everything, so we have to build up things to keep the sun out of the kids' eyes. So it's quite a chore out here.
I don't know, he's pretty fast.
Imagine staring into a black laser beam that would come out and blind you. No, don't even think of that. Dolly in, and action card.
Someday I want to own my own business. Someday I want to own my own business.
Action, Christian.
Yo quiero tener mi propio negocio.
That's a really cute close-up.
One of the challenges of filming this shoot has been the translation of the Spanish and the fast pace of changing the scripts, you know, as we're sort of going along, because it's just an evolving process based on the creativity that's going into it. So that was a difficult, really important.
Well, I'm going to be saying that in front of the lemonade stand.
There you go, bud. Put that in your brain.
I really like working with computers.
Good, cut.
We got the one side of this yesterday.
On any production, it's always important that the production company and the ad agency work together toward a common goal. The dynamics of the campaign created numerous last-minute script and talent changes, and everyone had to be on the same team.
Okay, parents, we learned a lot from you. Okay, parents, we learned a lot from you.
We always do our homework.
We pay attention in class.
All right, here we go again. One more.
We're rolling. You taught us education is the key to our future. You taught us education is the key to our future.
This is kind of like a controlled chaos when you have 30 kids on a set, and most of these kids have never been on TV before. We tried to get real kids.
And back.
All right, here we go, and action.
So check out the website.
You always say the mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Well, here's your chance to do something about it. I want to be a scientist and discover the cure for cancer. Someday, I want to own my own business.
I want to be the first person on Mars.
All of these children have dreams. But when you consider that California schools rank second worst in the nation, what chance are we giving our children to succeed? Prop 38 will give parents school vouchers so everyone can choose smaller, safer classrooms with no tax increase.
One day, I want to be president of the United States. I asked my mom if we could go to a safer school, but she said we don't have a choice.
Prop 38, a real choice for every family, a fair chance for every child.
Okay, parents, we learned a lot from you.
We always do our homework.
We pay attention in class. You taught us education is the key to our future.
Now we need your help.
California schools rank second worst in the nation, and 1 of 3 kids become dropouts. Prop 38 will give parents school vouchers so everyone can choose smaller, safer classrooms with no tax increase.
So check out the website.
You always say the mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Well, here's your chance to do something about it.